Okay, I'm not a TV, so you can all talk back. Hi. Hey, there we go. You're not dead. Hi, my name's Courtney Stanton. It's me. So this is not going to be a tech management talk. I'm not going to tell you like my favorite Jira tricks. I think the fact that this presentation is being given to you on an iPad that was written in Google Slides probably gives you a sense of how I feel about like the Atlassian suite or various proprietary softwares. I don't really do that. So this is a talk about how to manage people. It might even be helpful to you if you do not work in technology at all, but no guarantees. First of all, hi Mirabai. How are you? Hey! If you are local and attend various conferences, you're probably familiar with Mirabai, probably from like XOXO or AlterConf, most recently AffectConf, where I got to see Sean Lau get Mirabai so frustrated and flustered that she actually typed in Greek. Mirabai, I promise not to make you do that. I just wanted to say hello. I hope everything's cool in New York where you are. I will try to speak slowly. Awesome. Mirabai is great. If you don't follow her on Twitter, you're missing out. So, how to manage people. I am not here to tell you what to do. This is just what works for me. Hopefully you hear something that is helpful. So, how to be a person, right? What's it mean when your main project is talking to other people about their projects? And how to deal with other people in the workplace when you are their boss. So no big deal, everything that we can cover in 10 minutes. So I like to think of existing as something that actually requires effort. This isn't something that we talk about a lot in society. We like to obfuscate that whole layer of like people work and like shoring all of this up so that it's presentable, but I would like to kind of explode that and examine that a little bit. I actually think my primary job is to show up as a useful person in society. Everything else is just kind of gravy. So for example, this was my schedule last week. I mean, yeah, this is my time blocks from last week. First of all, note, not too many like double scheduled things because I don't do that to myself. I don't do long-term planning. This is pretty much as far out as I really go. I really just try to be physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually fit for a given day. And then whatever happens is going to happen. Like, I take care of myself. Everything that's circled in red is like a quote-unquote self-care thing. And so I want to draw attention to that because if you'll notice, it is actually taking away time in my schedule that one could be doing, I don't know, work. It's a significant investment. It's an investment of energy, time, and money to myself. And if you had asked me like 5 years ago what my schedule looked like, it was like a Rube Goldberg machine from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. dedicated to work. And so this is like a mental shift for me. I have found it to be incredibly helpful for the next couple sections, like management and working with other people, so hence including it in this talk. So, management. Key thing with management is that shit floats. What I mean by that, not just to be cute, is that the people that you manage are going to toss the things that they cannot control up onto you like it's a spiritual exercise for them. Because they have to. We all have to do, I have to do that for myself in my personal life. It's like some things are just like way beyond me, and so you got to kind of like throw it over your shoulder onto something. When it's work, you throw that onto your manager because maybe they can take care of it. Well, when you're the manager, it's helpful to remember that it's like, why do I feel so awful sometimes? It's like, well, because all of your direct reports are expecting you to take care of shit. They're not going to give you the fun things. They're going to do the fun things. That's their job. Their job is to do the fun stuff. Your job is to give them the fun stuff, and you keep the shit, and you take care of it. And if there's shit you can't take care of, you throw it up to your boss. That's the deal. But that's the whole purpose of management, is the shit floats up. And so if you're holding on to stuff that is way too big for you and shitty, float it up. Management is neither of these things. It is not a family. I don't ever want to hear someone trying to say, we're like a family here. No, you're not. Stop exploiting the family relationship to try and make people do things because they love you. It's the worst thing to do to some of the kindest instincts that human beings have. Please stop doing it as part of the work culture. Also, management is not an opportunity to try and get friends. It's really sad. Those people are not your friends. They're not your friends because there's power differential there. We just talked about that with the shit floating. They're expecting things from you because you're in charge of stuff that they're not. But at the same time, you're not like a puppet master run mad with power, and they have autonomy. The people around you are not just going to do things just because you tell them to. Nobody does that. Just like nobody works just for money. People actually have needs and wants and desires completely outside of work, too. Which, again, first section, remember? There's a whole scope of stuff outside of work. So you can't just expect people to dance for you. If you get nothing else out of this talk, please take away the idea that you should read the blog Ask a Manager. I meant to actually take a new screenshot because she just posted the most amazing update today of the most incredible letter that maybe she's ever gotten, but you can go home and read that. So Ask a Manager is incredibly valuable for a lot of things, but I think if you're not a manager, it's really helpful because you'll start to see what's normal across workspaces, not just within your workspace. And if you are a manager, it's really helpful because you can start to understand what a reasonable, chill reaction is to bonkers stuff. At least that's what's been really helpful for me. Allison Green's writing style and approach to weird situations and just people being really kind of unreasonable is so graceful and so calm. And I know part of it is because she has a week to sit and think about stuff, but I think it really has been very helpful for me because then I have a good gut check when stuff comes up to be like, oh no, that's really not okay, and I think you need to expect someone else to handle that. So now we're dealing with other people. We're not just doing theory, right? Oh, my friend is texting me about the hockey team that she likes. Excuse me. She'll love that she got to make a cameo in this. So all the stuff that I do to take care of myself, other people can do that as well. And in fact, it's their job to do that. Other people are responsible for themselves. It's guest starring. The squeak is guest starring again. It's not your job as a manager to parent your team. I know it's really appealing sometimes because solving other people's problems is so much more fun than solving your own. But it's a good thing to keep in mind because healthy boundaries are really useful in the workplace. Oh man, this sounds like every all ages show that I was ever able to. Okay. I really like that quote, you get what you tolerate. The man who said it, though, is apparently some Christian self-help guy, so maybe don't look him up. I like to attribute things that I find on the internet. So I'm not going to be able to explain what healthy boundaries are to you. I'm just going to suggest that you investigate what they are and make sure that you have them. Make sure that they're not too rigid nor too porous. Either is probably going to impact not only your workplace behavior, but also your workplace behavior. Again, whole person health, but also workplace health. I think when approaching your team, when dealing with coworkers and colleagues, I have found for me, every time I have decided I know why someone is doing something that I think is wrong, or is dealing with a situation in a way, is filing bug reports wrong, is doing it whatever, and I know why they're doing it that way in advance of talking to them, I am the one who is incorrect. And so learning how to ask good open-ended questions, learning how to expect the other person to be teaching me something out of the interaction always goes better than coming to them with, like, hey, shit for brains, stop doing that way. Like that, like, just not literally that, but that attitude, like, cuts me off from growing in the interaction versus, like, hey, help me understand why this process is going this way. Then I get to find out about, like, maybe a whole new problem that I didn't know about, or like a whole new avenue that I'm currently not seeing. So hence, be curious, not judgmental. So now you're just getting random management stuff because I figure you were expecting at least some management things. 4 stages of what I specifically call skill development, because every time people talk about 4 stages of development, they suddenly assume people develop linearly, like in total, as opposed to, like, well, a skill can develop linearly, but, like, that person has probably lots of skills, so maybe they can be very strong in some of them, but, like, still really weak in others. Like, someone can be a really good programmer, but really bad at public speaking. So someone starts out usually, like, learning a skill. The beginner, really easy, really obvious. They know they don't know anything, and you know they don't know anything. And so you're both at the same place, so they're really open to all of your tutorials and, like, hovering, and they're fine with it. Then they immediately enter amateur, where they hate all those things, but they still need them, but they don't know it. And the internet has lots of those people in forums. And I always find that one really helpful because whenever I find myself chafing and get into the, like, don't tell me what to do, you don't know my life, that's usually when I know I'm at that place. Just in case that resonates with you. I label the 3rd stage imposter, not because you're actually an imposter, but because that's where I find imposter syndrome usually starts appearing, where there's plenty of skills, not a lot of practice, maybe not a lot of familiarity with edge cases and weird quirky stuff that maybe the rest of the culture around that skill knows, and so it's very simple to start thinking, oh no, I don't know, I'm not very good at this. And so what's really helpful, I have found, is lots of coaching, maybe some, like, structured practice exercises that are a little more hands-off and just a little less risky, but still plenty of opportunity to what do I want to say, like practice exercises, that kind of thing. Running smaller teams, low risk examples. And then governor, because I don't like the word master. So yeah, that's where they can start doing teaching and run the risk of getting bored, and yeah, that's the phase that everybody wants to be at and thinks they are with certain things. So anyway, and again, that's where they know they're at it, you tend to know they're at it, and you can be a lot more hands off. But like I said, then you start running into, like, how do I keep them occupied and keep them from thinking they're like a code ninja cowboy unicorn? And it's where I find, like, mentorship and pairing them with beginners and amateurs can be helpful. Thing I find people sometimes start doing once they get the basics down is avoiding hard conversations with staff, where it's like, well, but I want to be like the pal all the time. It really is disrespectful to assume that somebody can't handle hard conversations that they need to hear about their performance or behavior or what have you. Also, just as a note, when you do an image search for hard conversations, most of the images that you get are men yelling. So that's why I went with the Calvin and Hobbes, because at least they're both yelling. So that's it. That's what I got for you tonight on how to manage people. You cannot give away what you do not have as a person. I really think that I'm only succeeding as a manager when the people that I'm managing succeed. I really try not to have that many personal projects. I give away all the fun stuff. If I can do it or another person can do it, then someone else is going to do that. I really try to keep myself feeling pretty slow, underwhelmed schedule-wise. Once I start to feel busy, I'm too busy, because all of my time really should be going towards checking in with other folks. And it's really up to other people that you work with to take care of themselves. You can only manage them. So thank you very much to the DonutJS folks. Thank you to Mirabai. Thank you to Aaron for recording the talk. And to all of you for buying tickets to support Join. Please help yourself to a field train sticker on the table if there's any left. And that's it.